Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fitz Talk Sports Network.
Bobby, you know, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Is this thing on? Hello? Good morning, good afternoon, and hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Fitz Talk today on the Fitz Talk Sports Network. I'm your host, Bobby Fitz Talk, and that is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Fish Tank. Fish Tank, what's up, my man?
You know, every time I hear your intro, I just get all excited about everything. But, you know, I went on to Twitter.
Twitter.
I went on Twitter just a few seconds ago and told everybody we're finally live because we were having tech issues. So now I sat and saw the picture that you made, and you actually captured my essence of being at the game on that picture, Bobby. I'm really liking it. It's a lot of fun. I'm ready for the season, bro. I'm getting excited. The juices be flowing. All that stuff's happening, Bobby. And you know what? I'm ready. We are going to go down. Kelly and I are going to go down for the first two games. We're going to go down for the first two games. Yeah, there it was. We're going to go down for the first two games, the 7th to the 13th. We're going to be down in Hollywood, Florida. So we're going to be there with about 8 or 10 other people, and we're renting a house, and we're going to have a nice party going on and all that stuff. So if you're going to be down there for the games, I hope I run into you. And I also, because there's a lot of kids that like my car, I got some stickers. I made some stickers up of me and my car. So I've been giving them out to the kids.
Oh, look at that.
And the adults are actually asking me for them. So I had to order more.
Look at that.
So I ordered more for the season. So when I go to the games, I can give them to the kids. Except this time I got them hologrammed. Like the hollow foil look.
Yeah.
So I got them like that, and I'll just give them to the kids. And then I have one that's made with just my car. So when the adults start asking, I'll give them with just the car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There you go. I love it. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
it's fun. It's fun. And a friend of mine goes, only you could make a sticker of yourself. I said, it's not about me. It's about the Miami Dolphins and me just sharing my car with people in some way.
That's right. And I will say, man, that whoever designed that sticker, man, they're very talented. Whoever came up with that whole thing, man, they're very cool. I did that one. That's pretty cool.
Wait a minute. Half of it you did. You put me in the car.
I put you in the car.
Where did you get the car?
Creativity. Yes.
That's where you got the car.
Yeah, look, you got Frederick right now in the comments. He said, let me get one, Hank. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I could let you get one. Not a problem. If you're going to the games, come see me. I'll give you one.
All right. So there you go.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. I really don't. All right. Well, Bobby, I got to find out where we're at here. I'm on my iPad right now. So
we're still at the
take us
beginning.
away.
So
I'm listening.
first off, preseason is officially over. The last game was last night. The Miami Dolphins finished the preseason losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but again, it's preseason. Dolphins wrap it up 2-1 on the preseason. My goodness, I will just say a part of most of that game, I was kind of like, I wish it was just over, because every time the Dolphins made a play, a player went down. And I just was getting nervous about who the next one may be. And it was a little scary. It was touch and go. Malik Washington at one point went down, and that scared the hell out of me. He came back looking really good, and he looked fast. I mean, there was this one where it was like a fake roundabout pass that looked really good. I mean, he was around the corner. I mean, he just fits right into this offense with the Dolphins.
I like what Wright was doing. The run.
Oh, Jalen Wright, absolutely.
My goodness, he was catching it out of the backfield. He was running it out of the back. I just really liked what I saw from him last night. I didn't watch a lot of the game because I've had a lot of stupid stuff going on around my house, so that I've had to deal with. But anyway, I liked what I saw of him because I was watching him a lot, and I was loving what I saw. So.
Well, again, I didn't expect much because it is game 3 of the preseason. A lot of the starters, most did not play. We did get to see Chop Robinson. We did to see Skyler and Mike White, that quarterback battle. We're going to touch on that later on.
That was weird.
Yeah, Jalen Wright played, and he looked really good. Again, Hayden Rucci, tight end, who's battling for a spot. He looked good. He had 5 receptions for a touchdown. I mean, a beautiful touchdown. I mean, rocked, and he kept it down. And I gotta say, I gotta give credit. Alec Ingold, I met last year at the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. Unbelievable guy. I've seen him on a couple podcasts. He is great on a microphone, but last night he was on the broadcast, and you have some players, which is understandable. They're shy. They kind of mumble a little bit. They don't know. He was perfect. This guy has a future in broadcasting. He's he's great. He's one of my favorite Dolphin players on this current roster. But on the mic, on a broadcast, this dude got a future. I'm excited. I was really it was really cool listening to him talk. A guy who didn't do himself favors last night, I will say 2 guys in my opinion, but one for sure. Obviously, we're getting a quarterback battle later on. Jeff Wilson, even though he only had 4 touches, he did not look good whatsoever. I did not by him. He did not help himself at any point to possibly make a spot where he could be the odd man out. Again, Malik Washington, he had 40 yards in that rush that I was talking about earlier, where they handed him off the ball. I mean, you could just see the talent that he has. Easy E did not play. He was in a walking boot before the game, which is kind of crazy, but touch on that later on. Let me see. Jasmine.
There we go. I finally got myself ready while you were doing all that, Bobby.
There you go. Cap for life. Good morning, good sir. Always great to see you. He says the golf simulator crew did not do well last night. Barrios and Mike White did not do themselves any favor. If Tua is sincere about accountability and calling players out, I hope he calls these 2 guys out. Mike White didn't do himself any favors last night. He did, again, no inspiration. Skylar Thompson, we're going to talk about it. He looked good. And does he solidify himself now as QB2? Well, if it's between those 2 guys, he did. And hopefully it's not. Hopefully the Dolphins do some shopping and see if they come out of this. But Skylar Thompson did do himself a lot of favors last night. Barrios, yes, did not. Let me go ahead and put this up here.
Good afternoon,
Aladino in the house. Everyone, again, watching Fitz Talk today on FTSN. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, especially wherever you're watching, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube,
I'm twitching.
Facebook. If you wherever you're watching, hop on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, share it. We're gonna have an amazing season here at FTSN with covering the Dolphins, as we always do. Preseason is finally over. The season is upon us. We got one.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. Are we going to talk about predictions today?
Season predictions?
Our final season prediction. Now that preseason's over, we know who's doing what and all that stuff. I want to make sure I give my
I was
final.
holding that. What I was going to ask you at the end of the show was, has your prediction changed without giving a number? And then next week we were going to go ahead and do our final season predictions because the season's the week after. Because then we'll know
that way we'll see who's on the 53 and everything else.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
I knew you had a plan, Bobby.
I always got a plan.
I don't just throw it out there. I just kind of ask a little.
72 undefeated. Good morning, good afternoon, good sir. Always great to see you in here.
Me too.
Look at that.
Cat.
Always good. So, some of the standouts for me last night, Jalen Wright, of course. I mean, again, he had 4 receptions, 41 yards, rushing, 7 touches, 36 yards. He is really setting himself up to have a good year. I mean, it's hard to ignore him. It's hard to keep him off the field. You got Devon Achane, you got Raheem Mostert, but when you watch him play, he plays like he's been in the league for a couple seasons already. I love watching this guy play. I'm excited about what he can do. I read a tweet yesterday, and it was so true, and I think it was from one of the Dolphin media guys, but they were saying about the running backs that a few years ago, Chris Greer did not really put effort into the running back room, did not really, zone in. But ever since Mike McDaniel has come in, it's really become a factor in this team. Again, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, and Jalen Wright. If you're not excited about a particular position, you're still kind of iffy about the team. If you're not excited about that running back room, I don't know what's up with you. That running back looks really good. Did you see anyone promising at left guard yesterday? I know Mike McDaniel says that we got good players that most people are ignoring or something like that there's good depth there. I know Chris Greer said last season that, we more worry about the offensive line more than they do. I understand that.
Because they have to save face.
Yeah. I'm not comfortable with most positions on our offensive line. It's just me. Of course, Terran Armstead's out there. I'm fine with that. Armstead is one of the best at his position. Left guard, Isaiah Wynn is out right now. He's on PUP. I don't think he starts the season. I don't know. Who you put out there. You put Robert Jones, possibly. You got maybe Eichenberg. Do you feel good about that?
Cotton over there, maybe.
Lester Cotton, possibly. We got Aaron Brewer at center.
Nothing really pops.
Exactly. When you think about those 3 spots, because at right tackle you got Austin Jackson, and we all know, again, he's not spectacular, but he's doable. Then you go right guard, center, left guard. You're kind of like, ugh. And then you watch yesterday, and again, these are the backups. But again, these are the guys that are going to come in if your main guys get hurt. But yes, you have the backup, and these guys are falling back on their ass every time they get pushed. So it's kind of like, I agree with 72 undefeated. It is questionable at best. So, but anyway, standouts. Again, I talked about Hayden Rucci yesterday. Loved what I saw from him. It is a tough battle at the tight end position. You got Janu Smith, you got Durham Smythe, Tanner Connor looked really well. He was injured though. Does he start the season or not? Julian Hill. That's a little bit of that's a tough go, but Hayden Rucci did himself a lot of favors yesterday, making this roster, possibly sneaking onto the roster or getting snatched up by another team. I mean, again, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. And this is not like, he's going against backups. The fact of the matter is, I mean, that touchdown was a grade A touchdown. He got smashed making that catch, and he came down with it. Someone made a point yesterday. When you're going to catch that ball, you're going to get hit. So you should just catch that ball, come down with that ball. And he did that. Malik Washington did not. Of course, Malik Washington got rocked. He got butchered out there by Mike White in that pass, but came back stronger, looked better after. But Hayden Rucci, I mean, he was very impressive. Again, Jeff Wilson, I just couldn't. I don't see him making this. Channing Tindall, 6 for 6 tackles. Daquan Jackson, Nick Needham.
Yeah,
He did really well.
I saw Tyndall have a decent tackle, but I mean,
yeah,
I didn't think he was blowing it up or nothing.
No, I don't think he was. Easy E has done really well for himself, but he didn't play yesterday. Besides any of those guys fishing, or those guys for you, I know you said you saw probably the first half of that game, part of that game, but what you did see, who stood out to you? Who do you were like, man, I like what I see from this guy?
Man, that's right all the way. That is just Jalen is just tearing it up. I mean, last night he was catching out of the backfield, running. He was doing it all. He was doing everything he's supposed to do. And like you said, he looks like he's been doing it for a couple of years. You know, seemed like a true professional. I like what he's doing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, again, and there's 72 undefeated saying the same thing. Jalen Wright. Let's see. Will's in the house.
What's up, 305?
305 Sports Now. What's up, brother? Good dude right there. He was on Spaces the other day talking on that too, of Flores controversy comments that everybody's blowing up about. We will touch on that later and give our thoughts on the situation. And I think that situation is one and done. Obviously it was not done. I don't think it was ever done until Tua made his piece. I know Flores had spoke on it in the past. Tua finally spoke on it because he was asked the question. We'll get on that. Color commentary. What is up, brother? But yeah, preseason wrap up. So yesterday, very quick on the defense. Undefeated brings up a good point. Defense did not really look good at all. I mean, they were that first drive against Baker Mayfield. Of course, they had their starters. We had our backups. But I mean, even Chop Robinson was in there, and he did not look good with that first lineup.
They were running all over us.
Yeah, it did not look good at all. But again, I guess if you're looking up the silver lining, it was our backups and our third stringers. But yeah, did not leave you feeling all the fuzzies before the start of the season. However, I will say I'm confident in this defense, the starting unit going into the regular season. Been up in Yellowstone. Are you up in Yellowstone right now, Color? Or you just got back? There you go, man. Very cool. Well, great that you hopefully you had a great time and you had a safe trip back home. Good.
Bobby.
Yeah.
I've been all over the United States. I've been to every state in the U.S., including Alaska and Hawaii. And I'm telling you, one place that I've always wanted to go that I've never gone. It's not Yellowstone, Yosemite, and over in California, I think it is. Yosemite National Park.
Yeah.
I haven't ever gotten to that one. I've been around it, and I've never gone there. I don't know why. I've been to Yellowstone, and it's beautiful. So, hope you're having a good time there, color commentary.
He's in Colorado right now. Very cool, man. In Yellowstone all last week. Yeah, Yellowstone's one of those places I definitely love to go to. Those are one of those places you have to. That, Niagara Falls. Yeah. There's certain places in the world that you said, like, man, I need to go there at least one time if I can.
Yeah.
Flava J.
Well, I used to do it the old-fashioned way when people used to drive across the United States a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Just drive across.
My dad was from Oregon, and we lived in New York. So we would drive across.
Drive straight up
my house. So take a week or two.
I was just talking about that yesterday with my friend at work, and I was telling her about when I was younger. We were talking about how many jobs we've had, and I was telling her one of my jobs, my early jobs, I was never really officially working, but I used to go on the road with my father. He's a mover. He was a mover, and he would take me on the road with him. And I remember my favorite thing was being in that that tractor trailer, and that there's a bunk bed in the back, and we'd go pick up the truck, and then he'd make sure everything's set up in the back.
Yeah,
and, we have a whole bunch of stuff in the back, people's stuff, and he'd stop at the gas station. He'd get me some chocolate and candy, and then he'd get me some chocolate milk, and we'd be on the road, and I'd watch movies in the back, and I'd sit up with him, and I saw Baltimore, Washington D.C., New York, up in there, a little bit to the west. Didn't really go far out. Never went that far out. But I mean, and I used to make good money because he'd give me, and I'd make tips, and then he'd give me something. So that was a lot of fun. I love doing that. I mean, I didn't like moving people, but I enjoyed that.
I was in St. Louis, and they got the arch there, right?
Yeah.
And you can go in there and go up the arch, which is really fascinating to me. I'm claustrophobic, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't get in the elevator and go up there. I was like, no, I can't do that. But I watched a lot of people go up, and as they came out, I asked their opinions. I said, so what did you see? I was just trying to find out what it was like up there, because I refuse to be cramped in this little tiny elevator with people, because if it ever got stuck, when and how are you ever going to get out of there? And I was like, no,
I'm good. Yeah,
I'm good.
just takes that one time. But
I mean, the water. I mean, Cap for Life is talking about the water glacier, and different things that people have done. You lived in St. Louis 11 years once. Wow, that's a long time to live in St. Louis. I was there for Hurricane Katrina in an emergency management team, trying to fix the communication so that everybody could talk to each other. So I was lucky enough to be in St. Louis while I was doing that work. It was fun.
Absolutely. All right. So going back to the Dolphins with the preseason, there are, obviously we're going to get right now to the quarterback two battle, and who should be the backup. But right now we're right to preseason wrap up, Fish Tank. Seeing what you've seen or reading what you've read and heard all in training camp, do you remember what your original prediction was? We're going to go over our official predictions next week.
I don't remember what it was. I think I had it either 12 or 13.
Okay, we'll go back. I'll go back and take a look, and I'll make sure that way we had the official thing. But I'll ask it this way then, until we know, and I'll let you know beforehand what that prediction was, so that way you know. But after seeing what you've seen, feeling how you felt last time, do you feel better about this team going into the season, or do you feel about the same, where you're like, you know what? I feel a little bit better, but I think I'm in the right ballpark. Or you're like, no, man, even though we only saw a little taste of what this team could look like with the starting offense last week, even though Tyreek did not play at all, Waddle has not played, do you feel better about this team?
Yeah, and I just want to point out that Tyreek and Waddle didn't play, and Tua was still 5 for 5 on his drive. Yeah. So who's it all being ran by? The guy in the backfield. If he gets enough time, I feel comfortable. If he doesn't get enough time, I don't feel comfortable. I was watching, I don't remember which quarterback it was. I think it's a new quarterback for the Denver Broncos, the rookie.
Bo Nix.
And they were just praising on how fast he got the ball out and everything else. And he started throwing the ball at 2.4 seconds. That's to his average of getting the ball out. He started throwing the ball at that point in time. He didn't get the ball out until like 3 seconds or some odd 3-something seconds. So I was like, well, how is that quick if my quarterback's getting it out at 2.5 all throughout the year? So I was like, that's not quick. I said, for a rookie, I guess it's quick. I said, but not for Tua. Tua's got some talent, is what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, he's made some bonehead plays. Everybody's going to do that. I mean, you can't focus in on 3 plays out of 50. It just gets you nowhere. Yes, they were costly mistakes. It happens, though. I mean, a kicker could shank it and we lose the game. So, I mean, it goes on and on. But me, I feel about the same, maybe slightly better than I did earlier, Bobby. And you know why? It's the, I don't know. I guess it's just, I don't have that confidence in the offensive line still. I really don't. I don't. And I've been telling you this for years, Bobby. So I don't like to say it year after year after year, but geez, fix it. Come on, get some decent backups. Get it to work out. But I'm going to believe in what the coaches are saying. I'm going to believe in,
that's all you can do, right? I mean,
I'm going to believe in Butch Barry and the gang and everybody else. I'm going to believe in all of them, Bobby. And I'm going to have that feeling probably next week that we're going to be doing a little better.
There you go. Let's run down this very quick. Talk about some potential players on the bubble, who should be on, who should be left off, who we think can sneak on. I'll run down some names, Fish Tank, and then we'll roll out. I'm going to obviously skip the quarterback position. Talk about quarterbacks, the backups at least, at the end. But running backs. Again, let's make sure I'm not missing anything,
Butch
guys.
for president. Yeah, Butch did a solid job.
Butch Berry, man, he's done well last season, and I mean, again, you look at what Patrick Paul has looked like so far. It's only possibly going to get better. All right, Dolphin running backs, who they have on the current roster right now, and this includes fullback Alec Ingold, but Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, Chris Brooks, Ingold, Jeff Wilson Jr., Zavin Harfath, and Anthony McFarland Jr., who they just signed from Pittsburgh, the former Steeler. So, who's safe on this roster? We know Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, and the rookie. Safe. Alec Ingold, safe. If we take Ingold out, it's 1, 2, 3. I think they're going to keep 4 running backs. Now it's between Chris Brooks, Jeff Wilson, Harfath, and McFarland Jr. I feel after what I saw from Jeff Wilson last night and what I've seen from Chris Brooks the following past week, Chris Brooks is in. Those other guys are all out. I think Chris Brooks could make this roster. What do you think, Fish Tank? You think so?
I have to totally agree. I haven't been able to see the preseason games, and I haven't gone and tried to find them. Like I said, I've been a little busy in my personal life, but
yeah.
There was a lot going for Brooks to begin with before this season even started. So, I mean, he was kind of a catch in the bag already, if you get my meaning, So I like it. I like what you're saying. I totally agree, actually.
There you go. Yeah, Chris Brooks in, Wilson out, and McFarland, and of course Harfath as well. The good thing about Chris Brooks, even though I don't know how much real time he'll see, probably red zone and goal line situations, because he is a power back. But again, he offers you that. So, they had Jeff Wilson in a goal line situation, or not goal line, excuse me. It was a fourth down. I think it was 4th and 1 or 3 and 1, and he got pushed back. There was like nothing, and I was like, yeah, we're done with you. Wide receiver room: Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios, Odell Beckham, Malik Washington, Izukanma, Jaquan Barton, Anthony Swartz, Braylon Sanders, Mike Hurley Jr., McGowan, River Craycraft, and Jaden Junkie. So those are the total guys on the the receiver room. The guys I think that are safe, obviously, is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Odell Beckham is, I believe, safe. We'll see, even though Malik Washington, I believe, is safe. Beckham, though, I think does start the season. I think, maybe the way it's looking, unless he starts, obviously, hopefully he starts week 1. But it's kind of like a questionable thing here. Does he start on PUP where he misses the first 4 games, comes in later? That could be a possibility where he allows another guy to sneak in. But if that's the case, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, I think Easy E is going to find himself on this opening day roster. Make sure Craycraft is starting on IR, or he would be on this roster, I believe. So it might be Braxton Berrios, even though I think Berrios was saved by the injuries, because I have not been inspired by Braxton Berrios this season.
No, I was about to say
this preseason.
It's not really what I would expect from him. He's usually a little better, actually. So,
and again, hey, you know what? He again, he's a veteran. They re-signed him this offseason. He might be better during the season than he is during the preseason. He might be good and looking in camp compared to what he see. But again, what you've seen in preseason, it leaves you uninspired, and you're looking at guys like Easy E and Hurley and Craycraft, and you're like, okay, do we really need him? I think we don't want to miss out on one of these guys. But I think because of the injuries to Craycraft, Odell, if he doesn't make the season, doesn't make the opening game, that kind of gives Barrios that indoor to come in and be on this team to start the season. And Izukanma, who again last week had a good game, didn't play yesterday, didn't play a lot in the first game, I don't think, but has had the praise of the coaches. I think he finds himself on this opening day roster.
Yeah, I agree.
let me see here. Football politics when involving Jeff Wilson and Chris Brooks, in my opinion, another example of entitlement over production. Even though I like Jeff, unfortunately, it's a numbers game.
Who's entitled?
Yeah, I was wondering.
I don't understand.
Do you think Jeff Wilson's going to make? Do you think Jeff Wilson's going to make the roster because of his relationship to the coach, or where are you heading there, Cap? Just to clarify, sir. All right, so moving on, tight ends. We were talking about this, and my goodness, what a difference a year an offseason makes. But Jonnu Smith, Durham Smythe, they're safe. How many tight ends do they keep? Depending on, of course, you think of the receivers that might be out. Does Miami say, hey, you know what? Let's start the season instead of 7 or 6 receivers. Let's start at 5 or 6 and leave an extra spot, and let's keep 4 tight ends. I think they keep 3 tight ends, but do they keep a 4th tight end because the receivers are out? So that might be interesting because you think about it. Durham Smythe, Jonnu Smith, they're safe. I liked what I've seen from Durham Smythe. Hayden Rucci last night, the rookie undrafted free agent that we have, he looked really good in a tight spot. Tanner Connor has been praised this whole offseason. Jody Fortson is a player where I don't think we've got enough to see on him, but seeing some of this film from last year and what he looks like he'd be an exciting prospect on this roster for the Dolphins. But again, and then you got even Julian Hill. So it's tough. My thoughts is Jonnu, Durham Smythe, Julian Hill, and I love what I saw from Hayden Rucci, and I hope there's a way Miami could keep him. If they keep him on the roster, I'm fine with it. If they keep him on the practice squad, I'm happy with it. Tanner Connor, I would find very hard to let go. I like what I've seen from Tanner Connor. I think it's consistently improving. Obviously, You were a fan of him last season. Hey,
I'm a fan of him every season.
That's right. Well, yeah, that's right. As long as they get that fish, the mammal on their helmet, then you're good.
Just as long as he gets me 15 touchdowns, I don't care.
You need that one. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what do you think? Between these 6 tight ends that are currently on the roster, how many do you think Miami keeps? And between Jonnu and Durham Smythe and whoever else, who do you think stays besides those 2 guys?
Ooh, I was reading Cap for Life's thing.
You're good. Read, yeah, it's good.
I was reading it about Barrios, and he says has done nothing, but since he's to his golf buddy, he'll automatically make the roster over Storm Duck. I hope not. I like
Storm Duck, man. He's another one who we love his name, but he has earned consideration to make this roster, no doubt.
Yes,
no doubt.
That was amazing. I loved the name, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then he comes in and he's electrifying. I'm like, this is good. This is good. I could go with some of that.
But out of the 2 tight ends that we think are safe, Durham Smythe and Jonnu Smith, Julian Hill possibly being the 3rd. But if you think they're going to keep 3, do you keep Julian Hill there, or do you move Tanner in? Or if they keep 4, who's that 4th guy?
I don't know, Bobby. With the tight ends, it's tough for me to really tell you one way or the other on them. I think you're definitely keeping Smythe. You're keeping Jonnu. It's got to be Tanner Connor, in my opinion. It just has to be. If they're praising him and all that, he's got to be the 3rd guy. And then it's just a matter of are they going to go 3 or 4? Like you said, because of the injured wide receivers, they might go 4. If they go 4, then,
it's a tough
we'll
call.
all be happy. We'll all be happy.
Again, you got Julian Hill, who's shown promise. I liked what I saw from the undrafted rookie last night, Hayden Rucci. And again, I can understand, but it's against the 2nd and 3rd stringers, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But that touchdown grab showed grit, man. That dude, to come down like that after being blasted by 2 players and still come down with that touchdown, he showed he's a football player.
Yeah.
He's not splashy. He's not, zippity doodah. He is a football player. He catches it, comes down, takes the bruise, and walks off.
Yeah.
He's earned consideration, and I really do hope, if not the roster, he makes the practice squad. Offensive line. Okay.
Hold on. Daniel says, my boy, Connor has to make it. That's what I say too, bro.
Daniel Meehan in the house. Always great to see Daniel here. Back It Up Binge podcast here as well. Color says he'd go with Tyreek Hill. I mean, that should be Julian Hill. We'd all go with Tyreek Hill.
I guess I better stop saying Fins up now that it's go Fins, huh?
Yeah, I still say Fins up. I'll say go Fins, but
I still say it too. It says it on the car. I can't stop.
Yeah, I know. Copyright? No. All right, Armstead.
Come get me.
That's right. Taron Armstead. Everyone else is Taron Armstead, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg, Robert Jones, Patrick Paul, Aaron Brewer, Kendall Lamb, Jack Driscoll, Lester Cotton, Andrew Meyer, Matthew Jones, Ryan Hayes, the rookie from last season. Andrew Meyer, Matthew
really
Jones.
Going to try to go through that entire mess, are we?
Byron Matos is a rookie as well, and then Isaiah Wynn. Isaiah Wynn should make the opening day roster. However, he is more than likely going to start the season on the PUP. So, who do I think is safe? Armstead, Jackson, Eichenberg, Paul, Patrick Paul, Aaron Brewer, Kendall Lamb, Jones, Driscoll, Lester Cotton. I think that's it. I don't know how. Again, I think I would like to see Byron Matos be put on the practice squad. Ryan Hayes, possibly. But again, I mean, obviously, those are the guys that I think will make the roster. I feel, at least. I don't feel good about it, but I think they make the roster. Yeah, Daniel, I think you're on the money there, man. I think Robert Jones and Brewer Eichenberg are those three centerpieces. Yeah, that's why I'd put him on the practice squad. He's a raw Aladino. Matos is a raw prospect. I don't think he's had a lot of football experience. I think he was playing basketball before he started playing football very late in his college career. I still think, again, his size is off the charts. I would put him on the practice squad, let him still work with the vets and work with the coaches and see what you've got. Give him at least a couple seasons and see if you can make something out of nothing.
And who?
On Matos, which is on Byron Matos. He's the rookie, undrafted free agent. He's an undrafted free agent. Again, like I was saying, he doesn't have a lot of experience playing football, but he's a beast of a man. I mean, I would say give him an opportunity on the practice squad. If you could keep him on the squad, let him get some reps, and maybe next season or the season after he starts looking like something, and then you got a decent player there.
That would be awesome.
We won't go too much on offensive line because we've talked about it so much already. I think that those players that I mentioned that are more than likely going to make the roster, the starting day roster, 53, are more than likely going to be those guys. Edge rushers, Jalen Phillips, Emmanuel Akpa, Chop Robinson, Mo Kamara, Quentin Bell, I think are good players to make that roster. I think they're safe. Bradley Chubb and Cameron Good, both on PUP. Riot Ray and David Ania. Well, I don't think they're going to make it. I think Quentin Bell, I mean, he's looked really good this preseason, this training camp. But I'm okay with our edge rushers. I feel pretty comfortable with what we have there. I'm really excited about seeing what Jalen Phillips does coming back and Agba given a second opportunity.
Yeah. I didn't, Agba was just overpaid in the beginning. That's the problem with Agba. He was overpaid in the beginning, and now they have him back on a decent contract. And, he's got to get in there and fight for it now. He's got to fight for it if he wants it, and he knows that now. So I think he's going to have a little more dog in him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So defensive tackles, Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, Deshaun Hand, Calais Campbell, Brandon Peely. Brandon Peely went down. I don't know his status. I don't know if he ever went back in the game. That kind of sucked. Isaiah Mack has made a name for himself a little bit. Showed up. He had a good play last night. Mario Kendricks, Leonard Payne, Jonathan Harris, Gallimore, and Robert Cooper. We know Tier Tart was cut. He did not fit the scheme. I'm glad Miami figured that out early on. We know Zach Sealer, Calais Campbell are safe. Peely, as long as he still remains healthy, I think could make the roster. Benito and Deshaun Hand might have the inside scoop, the inside, track to make the roster. I wouldn't put it past Isaiah Mack sneaking on here. I still think I would feel comfortable with Miami looking to see if anybody falls off other rosters. I would look for those acorns, see if you get another quality D lineman to put up there, and probably take one of these other guys out. Calais Campbell, I'm cool with. I love Calais Campbell, veteran, Pro Bowler, putting him up next to Zach Sealer, but I would like to see maybe another guy come on in. What's up, Bagging Up? Great to see you. Fins up. Go Fins. Kenna, great to see you, my man. But yeah, how do you feel about this defensive line, Fish Tank?
I feel pretty good about it overall. I mean, like you said, I like what we have. We have Sealer, Calais, Campbell. Those are two great guys to have in the middle. And then our edge rushers, I like our edge rushing core. I mean, Agba, Phillips, Chop Robinson in there from time to time. He hasn't shown a whole bunch yet, but, again, he's another player that's needs a little more time, but he'll be fine. I mean, it's all the same thing. And that's what they said about him coming out of college, is that he only had one move and that he's not able to get past the pass rushers, the pass blockers, and the rush defenders. I think that our defensive line is way, way better than our offensive line. How's that?
Well,
by leaps and bounds, bro. Our defense is leaps and bounds ahead of the offensive line. All right. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. Inside our linebacking core, Jordan Brooks, David Long Jr., Duke Riley, Channing Tindall, Anthony Walker, Curtis Bolton, Daquan Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I guess it stucks on Tindall. I mean, Duke Riley is serviceable. David Long and Jordan Brooks, I think, are safe.
Yeah.
I think obviously Anthony Walker's hurt. I don't know.
I wouldn't count him.
Yeah, I don't know how he makes the roster. I don't know if, do you put him on the PUP or the IR? Curtis Bolton, I think, could have a sneaking shot to get in. Curtis Bolton, he's had himself a solid camp. Does he push Channing Tindall out is the question.
But I don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because the good thing that Tindall has going for him is that he Ender, what's up, my man? Fins up, brother. Great to see you. I would say what Tindall has going for him is special teams. He's a solid special teams player. So, he might not be on that field a lot during the defensive starts, the plays, but on special teams, he has a serviceable role. So that might get him that final spot on the roster, or at least in the linebacker room. Defensive backs, my God, what a tough call here. This is going to be tough. Now, what's lucky for some of these guys like Saran Neal, Storm Duck, Campbell, because, even though they should get a spot, what's great for them is Cam Smith is more than likely going to start on the season on PUP. But he's on IR, actually. Excuse me. He is on IR, which is crazy. So, Jalen Ramsey, Kader Kohu, Ethan Bonner, Kendall Fuller, Saran Neal, Javon Holland, Jordan Poyer, Marcus May, Elijah Campbell, and Storm Duck could be on your final 53. I would not sleep on Nick Needham, because Needham could play safety and corner, nickel corner especially. Mark Perry looked good last night. Patrick McMorris, I hope if he doesn't make the roster, at least it's on the practice squad.
Yeah, because he do a lot. How did he do? I don't know about Patrick McMorris.
He looked okay. I don't think he looked good, better last week. I didn't really see him yesterday. He looked better last week, but again, it's hard for me.
I like I said, I hadn't noticed him. It's a name that I'm not familiar with.
That's okay. Again, I don't know what would surprise me with the defensive backs. I think Storm Duck, Saran Neal make it. I'm gonna be happy. Marcus May is a veteran. Jordan Poyer, a veteran. Elijah Campbell's shown really well. Ethan Bonner, Nick Needham.
I want Storm Duck to make it.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, he's been solid. Undrafted rookie, why not? Fins TV, what's up, my man? Great to see you. Great content over there in Fins TV, guys. You got to check them out if you haven't already. Go check out their channel, like and subscribe. I've seen their stuff. I like what they do over there. But Nick Needham, Mark Perry, Nick Needham being the one I think could really sneak on here, but who do you take out? That's the question, but we will see. Anyway, we know who our kicker is and our punter. And Blake Ferguson is our long snapper. A solid long snapper. Let's see if I should have brought that down. I thought I had it. I forgot to take it down earlier because I have a Blake Ferguson autograph. And I was actually to do a giveaway for anybody who donated to get that autograph to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. And I forgot to bring it down. But we got it last training camp when my parents attended training camp. They got it on this cool little Dolphin fan for life type of thing. Absolutely. Fins TV, message me on Twitter, man. Let's work that out, brother. I love to collaborate. So we didn't get the quarterbacks, so we're going to touch on them.
Where are you talking to him at? I don't see him. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to somebody in the comments. Fins TV. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, well, they're on Twitter. They're messaging through Twitter. You might not be seeing it if you're looking at YouTube.
There we go. I'm looking at YouTube.
I think you're going crazy. I think you're getting crazy, Fish Tank. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not talking to anybody.
I'm not going there, Bobby.
That damn bird feeder
I drove right into
again.
Headlong.
Oh man.
Hey,
let's go ahead.
I know my faults. I'm crazy. It's just the way it is.
So we're going to touch on the quarterbacks. Let me see a second. Just 1 second.
Bobby's asking somebody to get that stuff down for him. See? I know Bobby. There it is.
So this is the Blake Ferguson. I thought these were really cool. It meant one lifetime membership Dolphins.
Oh, I thought you were giving that to me.
No. You want to donate? Giving away to donate and we'll pick a winner. You donate and I will select a winner and you get a Blake Ferguson auto on this cool thing. You can hang this up on your wall at your office. I have one on my office.
That is really cool, bro. I got to admit, that
Blake
is
Ferguson,
pretty cool.
Long snapper. You guys go to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. Pop this up. You can scan this right now or get the link on my Twitter right here.
Yeah, you got
donate anything.
It's overrated. Yeah, donate to Bobby.
Scan that barcode. Donate to Dolphins Cancer Challenge. I'm obviously on Team Worldwide Dolphin Fans with Big E and 305 Sports Babe and company, man. And we're excited about, again, going back this year and doing this. Last year, Dolphins raised over $10 million, $75 million total in the 15 years. Our team raised over almost close to $50,000. So I got my first donation last week, $50. I was very excited about that. So thank you to Ethan Saul for that. Appreciate that. But guys, hey, if you want an opportunity to get a Blake Ferguson autograph, hang up in your office. Blake Ferguson, our long snapper, who kills it every time he's on the field. Donate today. Put in there Blake Ferguson auto. And depending, now if you're the only one to donate, you'll get it. But if we get a few, I'll go ahead and pick randomly a winner there and we'll get one. We have other stuff too that we'll start giving away. But right there, you can scan that barcode from your phone or device. If not, you could pop on over to my Twitter. I have it, the link on the top there. You could go through there and donate. Any amount helps. There's no amount that won't fight. $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. The more the better, obviously. But whatever amount you could give is greatly appreciated. We've all had cancer impact us. So let's kick cancer's ass together. Let's do it this way. If you can't join us in February and do the walk or the bike, donate. Anything can help. All right. And finally, the last thing I'll show again. There it is. Very cool. Blake Ferguson auto. Dun, dun, dun,
I
dun.
like it, Bobby.
Put that right there. All right. Quarterback 2 battle. My goodness, when are we not talking about the quarterback position? But we know who our starting quarterback is. That's not going to change. He signed his long-term deal. We're going to talk about our starting quarterback, franchise quarterback, in just a second, or just a few minutes. But quarterback 2 battle. Mike White versus Skylar Thompson. All preseason. My goodness. They have not make you feel good about what we have back there.
No.
I will, though, say Skylar last night had himself his best game of the preseason. 19 of 27, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He, what I did like about him, he looked more confident. He was running. He was slinging that thing like Brett Favre. I mean, in regards of just crazy ass passes. It reminded you about a couple seasons when he was a rookie that got you excited about his potential. I was happy with him last night. I think he earned himself a roster spot. And if Miami doesn't sign another quarterback, then by default, he should be your quarterback too. By default. Because of how he played last night. Mike White did not do himself any favors. Mike White, I think, you could save over 2 point some odd million. I don't know what it is if he's not on the roster. I think Skylar Thompson, after last night, should win that battle. But I think by default, I still believe Miami needs to go out and get a backup quarterback. Whether we'll see who gets cut. If it's a possible trade, go get a guy. We got 20 plus million in cap. Go get a guy where you feel comfortable who's sitting behind you, because I don't know how you feel comfortable with what you've got. Fish tank, am I off the line? Am I out of line here? Do you think I'm wrong or what?
You're totally out of line. You know, fire Mike White already. Get him out of there. Come on, man. He's stinking the joint up. And, you know, get him out of there. Bring Tannehill over and be happy.
That's right. I'm cool with that.
That would be my suggestion, but
again, Scott did a good 5 drop balls, still scored twice. Sure. Yeah, he did. And I agree. You know, there was some drop balls there. I forgot the receiver who did that a couple times. But I 1 game out of 2, you had all off season, didn't look promising at all. Both guys didn't look promising. He looked promising last night. Again, he's earned himself a roster spot. They should keep 3. There's a new rule. Keep 3 quarterbacks. And if you're going to keep these 3, by default, Skylar wins quarterback 2. Unless they sign someone else, then
I'm really hoping we do. I'm really hoping we get rid of White and we sign somebody. Because the quarterback room after Tua does not look fabulous. Can Skylar?
I know they're all close, which is awesome. They all get along kumbaya.
Through a couple games, though, Bobby.
Who?
Skylar could get us through a couple games if he had to. Now, would he win 50% of them? I would hope so. With this team, it's an electrifying team on offense, bro.
Well, I will say that. Okay, if you're talking about as a team with Skylar at quarterback, you know, with the talent, if this team is all healthy, last night was showing that they aren't, because, you know, they're dropping like flies. However, you're right. If with Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Wright, Devon H., and Raheem Mostert, Odell Beckham, you know, obviously offensive line, you put Skylar there, yes, they have a chance because of the talent around the quarterback.
Yes.
They have a better chance with anybody else.
We don't have to have a great quarterback backing us up, per se, but you do need somebody that can walk in and play some games. And I think Skylar, he could play 3 games if he needed to this season. You know, because every quarterback seems to hurt a thumb or something during the season. They all seem to get injured a little bit here and there and get bumped up for a week or 2. So hopefully that doesn't happen with Tua. But just in case he does, I think with this team, and you add Skylar Thompson in that backfield, I think he has a good chance of managing and getting us through that game. And he likes to throw the ball, too. He's got a little bit of an arm. And if he's throwing it to Hill and Waddle, forget about it. I think he would do okay. Now, Do you want okay in the NFL? No. That's why I say we still need to go out and get somebody.
So, yeah, I agree. Omar Brown in the house. Great to see you, Omar. He said, not Skyler's first opportunity. He knew what was going to happen, so he brought his best. There you go. Cap for Life says, now we're cooking, Hank. I like the idea, but once again, another example of football politics. Tua will not let that happen. Greer will not sign Tannehill because of the history, which is favoritism for Mike White. So there you go. We'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see what happens in the next few days. How does that situation play out? How does the final 53 look in the next few days? Again, Mike White came in clutch at the end, showed up in game 3, did his best outing. Mike White did not do himself any favors. Mike White, if he does stay, is QB3. Quarterback 2 is Skylar Thompson. And if they don't sign anybody else, it is by default. So there you go. All right. So Fish Tank and I, this has been a few days, and I was going back and forth on if we should discuss this or not, Fish Tank. But so you and I have not discussed it. I didn't mention anything. I did a little bit on Twitter. You didn't. I didn't see anything you did. But I thought, this is something we should talk about for a little bit. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Because everybody has a differing of opinions. And as you know, Fish Tank, the both of us believe that whatever your opinion is, that's your opinion. It's cool. Everyone owns up to their opinion.
You're entitled to it.
You're entitled to it.
But no matter how much it stinks.
If it's wrong, it could be wrong, but you're still entitled to it. But anyway.
You could have no opinions wrong. It's just your opinion. And my opinions stink the joint up at times. So let's find out what my opinion we're getting into now.
There you go. So Tua Tagovailoa was on the Dan Lepetard show. Dan Lepetard from Miami hosted his show, had started off in Miami, went to ESPN, had the Dan Lepetard show. Now he has his own platform, his own thing. He's killing it. And he has these side, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting it. It's South Beach Sessions. And he had 2 on there. And nobody's ever, I don't think anybody's really ever, and if they had, maybe Tua rejected them, but no one's ever really ever asked Tua about Flores. Flores has talked about the situation before. He did with Omar Kelly when he first left, because we all knew the rumors and the noise and everything else about Flores and Tua's relationship. And Flores, Omar Kelly talked about that with Brandon Marshall was there. I think it was on I forgot what the name of that show was. But anywho, Flores had said, we had a coach-player relationship. I'm really proud of him. This was at the beginning, and I remember kind of Omar kind of looking at him funny. And we heard a little bit about exactly what went down with those two and how Flores was kind of a little down on him, but we never heard from Tua. I don't ever really remember anybody ever asking Tua, but knowing Tua, he probably didn't want to talk about it because what's the point? He goes on the Dan Lepetard show. I think it was South Beach Sessions was the segment, and was asked about what's the difference between the different approaches between Flores and Coach Mike McDaniel. He did not voluntarily answer. He did not just say, no, he was asked a question, the different approaches between the two coaches for him. And this was his answer, quote unquote. Well, to put in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you, you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, and that you shouldn't be here, then that this guy shouldn't be here, that you haven't earned this, right? Then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate. You are the best. You are the best, whatever. You are this, you are that. How would you feel? How would that make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And he goes, continuing, and then you hear it regardless of what it is, the good, the bad, and you hear it more and more. You start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that is telling you that. That's what stood out there. But you have this terrible person telling you that you have things that you don't want to hear or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. And you're going to start to believe that about yourself. And then so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it's basically what have been the 2 years of training that out. It took me 2 years to train that out, not just me, but other guys on the roster, since that's been going since my rookie year. So, Jeff Darlington followed up. Of course, they talked about this on ESPN. They talked about this everywhere. Steve Malloy discussed this on Real Talk Rants. But Jeff Darlington was talking about this, and he revealed, I don't think he's ever revealed that before, but when they were talking about the "you suck" thing, what do you mean by they saying "you suck"? Brian Flores, because I want this to preference why I'm going to go here with these comments, that Brian Flores texted him to Tua, don't blow this after a game. You suck. You don't belong here. We're going to find someone else, i.e. Deshaun Watson. Everybody's saying, Tua doesn't like tough coaching. It's tough coaching. He was coached by Nick Saban. Tua should get over this. He should have declined to comment. He was asked a question. I don't think Tua came off bad. I don't think I read anything that said that he came off disrespectful or whatever. He was speaking from his experience. They said, what's the different approaches? They didn't say, what do you think about Brian Flores? They didn't say that. They didn't say, what are your thoughts on Brian Flores? What happened with Brian Flores? What are the different approaches between head coach Brian Flores and head coach Mike McDaniel? And he gave the answer. People didn't like that answer. It was his answer. It was his truth. The fact of the matter is, you have Nick Saban as your head coach. There's no one tougher than that. Nick Saban's a national champion. He's a national champion. Tom.
Many times over.
Many times over. And,
don't leave that part out.
Steve Malloy did tag something from Tom Brady, who talked about, I welcome tough coaching. I appreciate it. Blah, blah, blah. I do this, whatever. Obviously, he had Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Was Bill Belichick texting Tom Brady all the time? You suck. We're going to go get somebody else. Don't blow this time. No. Let's be real. That wasn't tough coaching. He didn't want Tua here. He never took that challenge. And he basically was killing the kid's confidence. And reading what that first, I didn't feel anything about it besides like, okay, shoot, there it is. At least he's opened that up. What?
Let's address the elephant in the room. He called him a terrible person, and that's what everybody's upset about, okay? And let me tell you, if somebody comes in and basically tells me that I suck every day, you're going to be a terrible person to me too. So, I don't know. Be a professional. Don't let your personal whatever get in the way of being a professional. And obviously, Flores let that happen. And he was using a little bit of personal pressure on Tua. Maybe he was trying to get something to light up in the beginning, and then he just kept going with it. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's
true.
not what you tell somebody over and over and over again, which obviously he was.
And my thing is, it's a great point, Fish Tank. And I will say, too, because I've seen some people say, it's how many years since it's been already? Let it go, let it go. He's never talked about it. There's nothing to let go. And he did let it go. But he was asked a question about the different
head, Bobby.
That's right. He was asked a question about two different approaches from those two different past head coaches. I think that's a fair question and a fair answer. He gave an answer. I know Steve said, he should have said, I'm not going to answer that. Thank you. That leaves more room for interpretation. Now, everyone else is speaking their opinion of what you meant by that instead of you saying what you wanted to say. If he would have said, I don't want to answer that question, then you would have had other people giving his answer. He's not speaking up for himself.
Why didn't he answer?
That's right. Now you're making more noise. He answered the question. I think he answered it fair. I think as he went on with the answer, he could have stopped. But as he went on with the answer, he felt more comfortable just letting more out. Obviously, and look, this is what I'm going to say. It's not an accident that Tua, pre-McDaniel with Flores, what you saw with Tua, everybody, he's garbage, compared to Tua right now, who is major numbers, and you could say Tyreek Hill all you freaking want. I get it. But Tua with McDaniel on the field, on the sidelines, on press conferences, looks more confident, more comfortable in his own skin. In discussions for MVP midseason, he has to show it up in December in the playoffs. I understand, but there's not an accident that you see a better version of Tua than you did with Brian Flores. With Brian Flores, you saw a Tua who seemed deflated. He did not want to be there. Again, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, anybody and their mother, Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was always the conversation when Brian Flores was there. McDaniel comes in, Tua, you're the guy. You were going to kill it. He would talk to him on the phone. You saw a big smile on Tua's face. He says, I'm going to do this for you. And he brought the best out of Tua and possibly, hopefully, even more. It's not an accident. So I had no issue with Tua talking or finally responding or, answering that question in the way he did. He spoke his truth. He never said anything before.
Didn't even mention anybody's names.
Never mentioned his name. We knew where he was going. We knew what he's talking about.
But again, he could have been talking about the quarterback coach.
He could have, Whoa. I just looked at the comments. That's funny. But again, let's see. Let me read here. I know Coach Flores did respond, and I liked Coach Flores. I liked him before when he got hired. I thought both.
I thought he was going to do great things, Bobby. I thought he was going to do great. I thought he was going to pull a switcheroo and give us nothing but winning seasons and happy days. But it didn't work out. And that's unfortunate, but that's all right.
Absolutely. I was trying to look for Flores' comments. He did say, there's some things that, he's done a lot of. Okay, here we go. Part of coaching is correcting. I'm always going to correct. This is him responding to the Tua comments. I'm always going to have a high standard. I've done a lot of reflecting on the situation, on communication. I think there's things that I could do better for sure. I've grown in that way. I've tried to apply those things I could do better and the things I've learned over the past 2 to 3 seasons, 2 to 3 years. I would say over the long haul, I've had a great relationships over my 21-year career in the league. I've always looking to get better and evolve. He's also indicated he wanted hoping to connect with Tua at some point to mend festings and said he's happy for the quarterback's success and the last 2 seasons with Coach McDaniel. No denial there. I think he realized, he's realized that, man, damn, I didn't really. I mean, you could be, sometimes at work you don't get the things you want. Things don't work. You don't get the manager. You don't get the team or whatever. You got to bring someone on. You got to do something that you don't want to do. But you got to make the best of that situation. And the crappy thing is that he didn't. He didn't do it. And that's obviously, it was rumored before. Tua finally says it's true. Brian Flores finally basically admits that, yeah, it's true.
If he's not helping Tua, he's part of the problem, not part of the solution, which means they needed to fire him.
Andrew Van Ginkel has no issue with Flo. Andrew Van Ginkel plays for the Minnesota Vikings, which is Brian Flores' team. He's the defensive coach there. Andrew Van Ginkel is a defensive player who played under Brian Flores. Of course, he's going to have no issue with him. He was there. He was in Miami. He could speak to about his experience in Miami.
Do badmouth his current coach? Come on.
Yeah, I don't really put, and I love Andrew Van Ginkel. I wish he would have stayed in Miami, but let's be real. Sometimes less is more. I think less was more. I think he said what he wanted to say. He never talked about it. So he's going to talk about it.
What you got, Bobby?
Let's see here. Make sure. I'm going to get some of these comments here. Let's see. All right. Let's move on here.
Exactly, Tati. Exactly.
Move to the top. I believe the show was I Am Athlete. Okay, that was one that Flores was on. Tua talked about Flores the week before the Tennessee game. Uno said he had receipts and everything we know about what happened after the Tennessee game. That Tennessee game is where they reportedly had a clash in the locker room, if I remember correctly. In my opinion, this is Cap. In my opinion, Tua should have taken the high road. All he did was add more pressure to winning now and not 4 years from now, regardless of the new deal. All right, so Cap, let me ask you this. How would you have responded? Okay, because the answer was, what's the difference between the two coaches? What's the different approach from the two coaches? Brian Flores' approach to Tua, not Andrew Van Ginkel, who was a linebacker, to his quarterback. His approach was, people say tough love. You suck. You don't belong here. We need someone else. We're going to go get Deshaun Watson. Jeff Darlington confirmed this. This has been reported. Flores in his comments basically said, man, I had the wrong approach. Tua now has said it. So what would you have said if you had a guy telling you, you had to answer this question? How would you have circumvent that response to say, with Flores, It's just, how could you have said that would have made you, the fan, feel better about
and
what
you can't not respond, because if you don't respond, then
how are
even
you going to
more
say,
crap comes your way.
McDaniel, man, he's just full of praise. He's always telling me, hey, you're the right person for this. We can get this done. You're the most accurate guy. I'm going to give you this confidence. And then what can you say to not say, Flores just was not cool with me. Me and Flores, it was a different type of approach. Because how can you say to a soft when his coach was Nick Saban? And then watch what Nick Saban said about coaching quarterbacks.
Cap answered you, Bobby. Cap answered you.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I'm still going through the top here. I'm just keep continuing here.
I know. That's why I stopped.
Will says he agrees 100%. Flores hated Tua, plain and simple. Omar Brown. Let me see here. Keep going. 201. Hope Flores learned never to. Let's see. And do I think Flores will get another opportunity? Absolutely, I do. I think he could for sure. I think it has a lot to do with owning up to those mistakes. Again, he still sued the league and talk shit about the Dolphins.
Well, he was right to sue people. He was right. He was put in a stupid situation that he shouldn't have been put in. And they did things to him that they shouldn't have done. So I agree with him suing them. But
yeah. And again,
that doesn't mean that his coaching style and how he treated people, certain people, was uncalled for. Period.
I realize there's still a lawsuit going on. Flores has to play nice.
That's the problem with people that aren't good managers. That's what you notice right away about the people that suck at managing, Bobby. It's simple. They have positional power. They don't have any personal power. And without personal power, nobody likes you and nobody's going to work hard for you. It's that simple. And he blew all his personal power by telling somebody he sucked over and over and over and over again. I mean, come on. That's not a manager. A manager of personnel and people, a man of men, should be helping those young men in succeeding. Not sitting there saying you suck. And if it's tough love and you said you sucked once or twice, I got that. But continuously, over and over, give me a break.
And the issue I have is people don't have issue with what happened. A lot, the ones that are against what Tua said don't have an issue with what happened. They have an issue that he spoke.
Yes.
They would let
exactly.
We'd rather have someone else speak to our situation. Because if he would have said, and I got Cap's point here. Let me see here. And I would have said, this is Cap saying if he was asked that question, I would have said, here, the other one is here, the other one is it. Let's move forward. That's the pass. I would have said that. That's what Cap would have said. Guess what the news story would have said right after that? Guess what the news story would have said after that? Tua refuses to talk on Brian Flores. And everybody go, oh, you see, why is he not talking? I knew he had a problem. Blah, blah, blah. So now you have all the commentators saying what the situation is instead of Tua saying what the situation is. I'd rather hear from him. If Tua continues to talk, let's say midseason, next season, Tua continues to talk about Brian Flores, then it's like, dude, let it go. It's the past. He never spoke on it before.
Yeah, I mean,
I never heard him speak
talking trash this whole time. Yeah, I agree. But he said one word, and it wasn't really directed at Brian Flores. He was answering a question about himself and how he was being treated. I'm fine 100%. With that. I'm fine with it. Bobby, let's roll it up.
Yeah. The manager points out your strengths and weaknesses without turning it into a personal attack. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a difference between tough coaching and just hating. And
that was just hating on the kid. And the kid had plenty of problems where he could think he sucked because he had a busted up hip and everything else. Come on.
I don't have no issue with tough coaching. I have no issue with tough coaching. That's not tough coaching, though. Again, that's not really saying, look, man, you could do better, but you're playing like crap. You're throwing things, you could do better. This, and this. Let me show you how you're doing. You can't be like, that's different. Tough coaching. Get your shit together. Act up. That's different. Hey, dude, you suck. Hank, you don't really belong here. You're terrible. I can't do it. How are you going to feel after you get off this thing? You're like, God dang, dude, I'm not going to have a chance here. I need to go find somewhere else.
I'm going to be like, man, I'm going to go chop Bobby's head. Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, don't make me get my
That
machete
coaching
out.
style had a top 5 defense on the way out the door. Not to mention Fangio's coaching style left us as a top 10 defense. Sometimes these players need to look in the mirror. Yeah. How did the offense do? How did the quarterback do? How did the team do with that coaching style? Now look at what the team's doing now and what the quarterback and the offense is doing. The defense is still top 10 last year. Sometimes the fans, we all have to look in the mirror and kind of see the big picture.
Yeah.
So I think. But anyway, that's all we're going to talk about on this. We had our say. Moving on to brought it up. Everyone else was. Now we gave our 2 cents.
I see it as no big deal.
Same here. He said his piece. Let's move on. I don't think
if he continues to talk,
I care about what Tua's play on the field. I don't give a damn what he says off of it.
Exactly. He could say that he spanks his monkey every other day. It wouldn't
Jesus,
bother
I hope he doesn't.
He could say that. I'm just saying, what would I care what he does in his personal life as long as he isn't abusing children or something like that? I don't got a problem. I don't got a problem.
Absolutely. All right. All right, guys. We all appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much. Season's around the corner. Next week we'll give our official
Cap,
season
by the
predictions.
Way, great points.
Yeah, absolutely. Cap was coming in hot. Should have opened the line for him. We'll do that next show. But Cap's great. I appreciate Cap. He knows that.
He's got great points, though. Every time he's in here, he's got some good points.
I got love for Cap, man. Cap's great. Omar Brown, great to see you, man. Aladino. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss anybody here. Of course, Will, 305 Sports Now, guys. Go check out his channel.
Omar.
Sure. Tati, Aladino, Fins TV, Kenna, Frederick, Undefeated. Always great to see you. Jasmine, appreciate you watching. Guys, thank you so much. Again, content doesn't end for today. Later tonight, we'll have No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Talk about who's the WWE's greatest of all time. Who's their GOAT? Some will say Hulk Hogan, John Cena. John Cena said it's Roman Reigns. We're going to touch on that. Tuesday night, we will have the first episode of the Caneswear podcast previewing the Miami Hurricanes game 1 against the Florida Gators. I'm very excited about that. Real Talk Fins Talk, or Real Talk Rant should be back on that night as well. A lot of stuff going on the channel. Wednesday, Touchdown in Paradise college football podcast is officially back. They record on Tuesday night and they drop it on Wednesday afternoon. So,
hey, Bobby.
Yes.
Let me talk to you about strength in the WWE real quick. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to watch a little WWE, and I can tell you for sure, Hulk Hogan is the baddest man I've ever seen. He body slammed Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant.
He did.
That has got some big ones to try to even attempt that. The man was massive. He was 2 men in one.
Yes,
and Hulk Hogan scooped him up and body slam. I was like,
WrestleMania
wow.
3. Yeah.
I was like,
hey,
wow.
Look, I will say this. First off, I grew up a diehard Hulk Hogan fan. Hollywood Hogan, Hulk Hogan. Love watching all his matches.
I don't like him as a person now because I've heard some bad things about him. So I don't know so much.
I get
about
you. And again, I will say this in regard to that personal. I'm talking Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, the professional wrestler, to me is right up there with the greatest. Again, everything he did. He did
it 20 some odd years, bro.
When you think of you think of basketball, you might not know all the players, but you know who Michael Jordan is.
Yep.
Football, you might not know all the players, but you know who Joe Montana or Lawrence Taylor was,
Or Dan Marino.
For a golfer fan, Dan Marino is, right? Or football player, you would know who Dan Marino is. He's a household name. Professional wrestling, you might not be a wrestling fan, but you know who Hulk Hogan is. Hulk Hogan was that guy. He put wrestling on the map. Okay, he's one of those pillars, and you could feel any way you want about him in regards of his ring style and whatever. But as a professional wrestler in that game, especially in WWE, but overall, he's one of the GOATs for sure, and if not the GOAT, he's the one who put it on the map.
Who my favorite
Omar says the Undertaker.
You know who my favorite wrestler of all time is, though, Bobby?
Who's that?
Jimmy Snuka.
Hell yeah, Jimmy Snuka was
He
awesome.
started over in the Pacific Northwest, and I used to watch him as a little kid. And man, that guy, he would just jump off and fly.
Oh, well,
before he was in WWE and all that, we're talking like the old circuit where they used to, run up and down the West Coast.
Cap says Brooklyn Brawler. I love that answer. That's a good one. The Brooklyn Brawler.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you see, for me, people go, oh, I'm too young to see those guys. No, I remember I would go to Blockbuster. If I would go to my dad's house, we'd go to Hollywood Video, and I would go rent all the old wrestling tapes, all the old WrestleManias, all the old WCWs. That's why I knew the Surfer, Sting, Ultimate Warrior, Jimmy Snuka, Rowdy Piper, Hogan, Andre, those guys, and again, Andre could be called to go. Every time you see Andre, you know who Andre the Giant is. I mean, that dude is, he's the face, you know what I mean? Like, that Undertaker, WWE, I think is a good argument. Overall wrestling, I don't know, but WWE Undertaker is in that conversation as GOAT, but yes, Fins TV, tune in, man, 8 p.m. Eastern, me and Josh Kimmel live, no holds barred wrestling. Fish Tank Hank, I love that he got into it, that he talked about it. We got to talk some old school wrestling. We did that at the end there. See, we're diverse. We talk about everything sometimes here on
I can digress. I mean, be diverse.
There you go. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. For Dolphin fans, like, subscribe, and as always, fins up.
up.
See you next week.